Hello and welcome. This is Dale Calvert. I promise you what you're getting ready to hear can be unsettling. It can be frustrating. It can be aggravating. But if you'll just open your mind, I know it can shave years off your entrepreneurial journey without question. Let me ask you a couple of questions, and please just be honest with yourself. How many business have you started? How many side gig money making deals have you been involved with? Have others made money with them? I mean, I don't know what you've done. Maybe you've done network marketing or Shopify stores or blogging or drove for Uber or been in the delivery service business, decided you were going to start a podcast or publish an ebook, and the list goes on and on and on. Have others made money with those different business models? Why didn't you if you didn't? If you didn't, why didn't you? And most people say, well, Dale, I did this and I did okay. I did okay, because it's hard for people to admit that they failed. I don't think very many people go into a business model to do okay. How much time, and time is the most valuable asset you have, how much time have you wasted with gurus that promise you they were going to teach you how to get rich? I mean, really, how many? How much time and money have you spent looking for the magic foo-foo dust to easy wealth creation, which everybody seems to be promising? To thy own self be true. If you don't change your behavior now, down the road, one of two things is going to happen. And I've seen this happen over and over and over for a lot of really good people who could have had success and who deserve success and who had the desire for success. But they never change their behavior. And because of that, here's what happens. Number one, you'll determine all entrepreneurial opportunities are scams, and you'll join the world that we live in now, which is the anti-capitalist victim mentality world in which we live. Everybody is trying to make you a victim. Everybody. It's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. It's the government's fault. It's the politician's fault. It's the company's fault. It's the guru's fault. It's somebody else's fault, but it's never yours. You'll spend the rest of your life. Number two, the other option is you'll spend the rest of your life on the opportunity seeker hamster wheel and die someday with your potential still locked inside of you. Benjamin Franklin said most men die at age 25 and they don't bury them to age 65, but that's not you. You're still in the game. You're still dreaming. You still have that entrepreneur flicker left. But if you don't make some changes in how you've been approaching this whole situation, make some changes to your behavior and do it right now, you're destined to be on one of these two paths. And the opportunity hamster wheel is no fun place to be, as many of you can tell everybody else, because that's where you've been, some of you, for years. Attempting to participate in the free enterprise system without honest feedback is a recipe for disaster. I want to make sure you heard what I said. Let this sink in. Attempting to participate in the free enterprise system without honest feedback is a recipe for disaster. Now, the obvious question, why is honest feedback so hard to find? Because many in the world, and especially those on YouTube and social media, have one goal: these self-proclaimed gurus. They lie to you and tell you your failure is not your fault. It's not your fault, it's somebody else's fault. I'm here to tell you it's your fault. You're the one that made the decisions. We are all a result of the decisions that we make. So the only way to change is to change the way you make decisions and to change the decisions that you've made. Some people just get out of the game instead of trying to make correct decisions. They just get out of the game altogether and become part of the victim mentality that I talked about a few minutes ago. In the world in which we live, a lot of these self-proclaimed gurus, their goal is to tell you what you want to hear. Tell you what you want to hear so they can keep you around as long as possible and sell you what they want to sell you and extract as much money from you as they possibly can. Telling the truth is not the way to make quick money on social media. It's just not. And a lot of unscrupulous people have figured this out. They understand, tell people it's not their fault, it's somebody else's, but I have the golden goose, and buy my $997 course and I'll teach it to you, and you'll never have to feel frustrated again. It's a lie. And if you stop and think about it, you've heard the same pattern over and over and over. Why? Because it works on people who are not willing to accept responsibility for their own decisions. I personally believe your long-term income, your upside income potential, and I've been talking about this for over 30 years, it's an endeavor that is in direct proportion to the value you provide to the market that you serve. That's what I believe. I believe long-term income comes from the value you provide over a period of time to the market that you serve. You know, Matthew 20:26, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but it basically says, he who wishes to be great must first be the servant to many. The servant to many. You don't serve people by telling them what they want to hear so you can extract as much money from them as you possibly can. That's not the way it works. The internet is full of those that are trying to teach others how to do that which they've never done. Full of it. Here's the 3 most important questions people never ask themselves. And it's your responsibility to ask yourself quality questions. I've heard it said that the quality of our life is in direct proportion to the quality of questions that we ask ourselves and then answer them truthfully. Truthfully. Question number 1, who is this person? Why am I listening to them? That question alone could have saved so many people so much money and time and frustration. Just asking that one simple question. What's their track record? What's their documented track record? Number 2, this is something you've never heard me say before, and it's worth internalizing, and it's worth asking this question to every opportunity that you ever look at for the rest of your entrepreneurial career. Are these people trying to sell me a course or a coaching program, or are they inviting me into a team culture where they only profit if I do? Think about that. Let that sink in. When you're looking at an opportunity, are they trying to sell you a course or coaching program? Are they inviting you into a team culture where they only make money if you do? Very, very distinct difference. Most people never think about that. Number 3, is the team culture, systems, and opportunities they promote helping other people like me? Like me. And my focus, as many of you know, is on the 27 percenters, and I don't have time in this system or this training to get into that. But the 27 percenters, is it helping average people with above average desire create financial success right now, today? Not 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, not 5 years ago when Kindle was hot or whatever was hot in the marketplace at the time. Is it happening right now, today? Are they working a timely opportunity? Those 3 questions will serve you well the rest of your entrepreneurial career. I would jot them down. Most people make the mistake of jumping all in with whomever is sharing, and hear this, a new shiny object they've never seen before. Just because it's a new concept or idea, ChatGPT, for example, does not mean that you need to jump into it just because you've never seen it before, because it's new. Being new and being first into the right thing can be very profitable. And I believe in trends, and I believe in getting in front of trends, and I believe the trend is your friend. I believe all that. But just because something is new does not mean it is workable or viable. It just doesn't. Success leaves clues. A team's track record is more important than the quality of their YouTube videos or how fancy their websites may or may not be. Are people progressing right now, making money? If so, who are they? What's their story? What's their background? Are they like me? Are they just someone that was successful already and brought all the skill sets and that they've developed over the last 10, 15 years to whatever the new opportunity is? You got to look behind the curtain. And really, are people progressing and making money right now? New people, if they are, who are they? That's all you should be concerned with. I hope this is making sense. Your lack of success is your fault because you probably did not take the time to ask yourself the right questions. Okay, you probably did not ask these 3 questions. Most people make emotional decisions and then they attempt to find the facts to justify those decisions. I like to look at the facts. I don't care about anything else except what can be documented. So, what do you do from this point forward? You live, learn, move forward. Get smarter. Get with the right team, the right culture. A culture where they only make money if you do, not a culture that's just trying to sell you as much as they can possibly sell you. I am going to take you behind the curtain now and give you access to a private training that we did in the last month or so with our personal team, just to show you give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say the right team culture and being with the right people that are telling you the truth and not necessarily what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. I hope this will speak to you. We'll break away and go to that live Zoom that I did in the last 30 days or so, and then I'll be back with you to wrap this up. And my question to you guys is, who is the number 1 affiliate team in iHub? Take Gordy and Kelly out. Who's the number 1 affiliate team in iHub? Do you think that happened by accident? And I know a lot of you probably don't know how to react to when I'm trying to question you, but I'm really trying to get you to think a little bit tonight. Really think a little bit. This team continues to dominate the leaderboard. This team does. Look at Gordy and Kelly compared to number 2. They're almost 100 calls ahead of who's ever in second place. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But again, we got a lot of people on this leaderboard. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. I'm going to share something with you because I want you to see how this really relates to you guys. Before the ERC event iHub in Vegas, I'm talking with Gordy, and it was shortly after we were introduced to Joe Bosco, and we're talking and everything. And I said, Gordy, you're 10 times better than Joe Bosco. And I meant it with everything within me. He is. And some of you remember a couple of months ago on this call, and some of you, somebody, that's good job throwing Gordy and attaboy. And it's like, you have no idea what Gordy and Kelly Alderson are getting ready to do. It was no attaboy. I don't attaboy people that don't deserve attaboys ever. That's not who I am. But I said 2 months ago, it is their time. And I meant it from my soul. It's their time. I knew it was their time. And and I said on that call 2 months ago, when this is all over, not only will everyone in iHub know who Kelly and Gordy Alderson are, I guarantee you tonight, corporate cannot complete the call without saying their name. They say their name every call. Every call. And it's like and I said 2 months ago, everybody in the entire ERC world is going to know their story, not just iHub. And that's just the truth of it, guys. That's the truth of it. I got to do a real quick brain dump, and then we're going to bring on Philip. I'm going to do this as quick as I can, but I want you to hear what I'm trying to communicate tonight. I believe this. I heard this on a podcast this week. This guy made this statement, and it had nothing to do with ERC. I can't even remember which one it was, but it hit me. It hit me hard, and that is because it's true. It's true as true can be. The only way, like Zig said, the only way to change where you are is to change what goes into your mind, okay? That hit me hard, 40 years ago. This guy said, the only way financial independence is created is when you find yourself in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity. Now, I added this last part, okay? But if you just stop and think about people that you've known, good people, but that created wealth, it's not the hardest working people you've ever known. It's people that found themselves in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity. That's how wealth really is created. You can work hard your whole life and you can do well, but you aren't going to create wealth. And then you have to have the skill sets and the mindsets or the financial means to take advantage of that. I mean, sometimes you have to have the money to be able to put into this once-in-a-life opportunity. I mean, who would go back now today and buy a McDonald's franchise when they were $15,000? It's pretty obvious today, but there's a lot of people that missed it. Why? Not because they didn't even see it, because they didn't have the $15,000 to put into the McDonald's. So it's a combination. Skill sets and mindsets in the beginning when you're grinding, and then you have to have the financial means. Many of you arrived here with the skill sets and the mindsets to take advantage of this opportunity. When you got here, you were ready to go. And for those of you that landed here and you did not have the skill sets and mindsets to take full advantage of the opportunity, now, in my opinion, it makes great sense to develop the skill sets and the mindsets and the discipline and the time management while you're here right now. Do the best you can with it, improve, get better, progress, because you're going to be paid real well to develop your skill sets. You're going to be paid better this year with this opportunity for your education than you ever will have the chance to get paid for it again. This is going to pay you a whole lot more than Melaleuca would. Are you following me? So take advantage of it. Yeah, well, they did this. Well, Gordy did that. Well, yeah, Tony Shoup did that. Blah blah blah. No, some people arrived here ready to run. Others didn't. And see, here's another. And I want to make sure I get through this tonight. But this is so good if you think about it. Every network marketing webinar tonight in the country, in every company, you name it niche. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care. Name the business model. It doesn't matter. They're trying to teach people methods and systems and phrases and ideas and concepts who are programmed for mediocrity. And if you're programmed for mediocrity, there ain't no foo-foo dust. All the best training we got the number one affiliate in this company available to us. We could put him on. Kelly and Gordy could come on and answer questions for all day Saturday. But if you're not programmed and ready, it does you no good. And guys, that's truth. That's just reality. You got to be ready for it. You got to have the right mindsets. You can't walk around every day seeing the glass half empty. It will not work for you. So this is a great opportunity to develop those skill sets and mindsets that must be developed, because you can get paid real good while you're in training and learning, or you can sit in the stands and out in the parking lot at the tailgate for the rest of your life. And that's just the truth. I know I can't communicate this at the way I tried to communicate this, but I really got into this in this session. I asked you last week, if you have not listened to it, please listen to that session. If I'm talking to you, and I realize I'm not talking to many of you, but some of you, I am talking to you, and you know who you are. And if you arrived here and you did not have the skill sets and mindsets, you don't want to ever be in this situation again. Now's the time. Go all in, develop the skill sets, develop the mindsets, get past your fears, expand your comfort zone, do it here, and get paid well to do it. And that's where to start, that video right there. And again, for me, this is all about progression. It's all about progression. If I ask you, what skill set or mindset are you working on right now? Some of you should say, I'm working on overcoming fear of the phone. That's where I'm really focused on. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. It has to be intentional. You don't become a master of what you're doing just through osmosis and hanging around and listening. I got to get this off my chest. I apologize, guys. I feel like I'm going too long, but I got to get this off my chest. I read this article this week. Man, it's just a snippet, really. And it makes so much sense. This guy said emotion. This is a doctor, psychologist guy. He's talking about emotional intelligence is on the decline. And my first thought was, it's on the decline. 5 years ago, people didn't even know what EQ meant. They didn't even know EQ was a thing. Everybody thought it was all about IQ. They didn't understand what EQ even was. And now it's on the decline. And it said, and in my opinion, this is going to make it's going to continue to make it more difficult for people to reach their entrepreneurial potential because of the decline in their emotional intelligence. People are being programmed to see themselves as victims and with no control on any aspect of their life. We hear it, see it every day. I witness this every week. I probably am on 3 or 4 off-the-wall topic-related webinars at least every week. I record them, and that's how I go to sleep at night, listen to something from somebody. And I can, at the end of it, the lack of emotional intelligence just is so obvious with the off-the-wall, unrelated questions that are asked in every niche on every webinar I have been on in the last 2 or 3 years. It's crazy. So, I think the free enterprise is phenomenal because, a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid that never done anything entrepreneurial could get involved with network marketing and tap the free enterprise system when I was 20 years old. But free enterprise without honest feedback is a disaster. And that's what's been happening around the country for the last 10, 15, 20 years, especially in the team building, network marketing business model. Most people are told what they want to hear, so they'll hang around, stay on authorship, and keep buying, Eric Worre's seminar tickets to the big event in Vegas or whoever's. And that's just the truth. They'll tell them whatever just to keep blowing smoke up their dress and keep them hanging around in their tribe so they can extract as much money from them, as much as they possibly can, as quick as they can before they quit. I believe if you join iHub Global ERC program and you don't book your first call within 90 days, you should lose your affiliate position. I think they should have X number of affiliates. The rest are on a waiting list, and the only way you can get in this deal is if somebody else gets thrown out. And if I ever have another company, that's probably the way I'll do it. Two years ago on my podcast, I said the number one entrepreneurial trait moving forward will be the ability to focus. The ability to focus. Lack of focus scares me to death, honestly. What I see. The Social Dilemma. I don't know how many of you have seen that, but if you haven't, that's a mandatory watch. Join Netflix I think it's on Netflix. Join Netflix for a month just to see this film, because it'll jar you if you're in the entrepreneurial space. This article is at DaleCalvert.com, and it's from a gentleman here, Daniel Goleman. It's very thought-provoking. It's just a couple sentences, really, but it's thought-provoking. I have real concerns. I believe there's an orchestrated conspiracy to keep us disrupted, on edge, and focused on everything except what really matters. And I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I kind of am. You know, I haven't drank the Kool-Aid, but man, and I've been this way for years, and now I'm becoming more that way. You know, but I just got to share a couple of things. I see a disease of despair and loneliness all around. Despair and loneliness, and it plagues tens of millions of people, more people than at any time in history. Even though we are more digitally connected with people that we call friends, you know, that's a hoax in itself, than ever before. People are they're disconnected and they're lonely. Overdose, suicide, depression, and alcoholism are ravaging our nation, the world, really, from within. And the numbers are at an all-time high. And it's kind of hard to it's not really hard to understand why. When you look at, you know, how offshoring has gutted middle America manufacturing, as Ross Perot told everybody it would do. Some of you remember that sucking sound, you know, when NAFTA comes in, that sucking sound, you know, some of you remember that. I'll never forget it. Inflation has impoverished the average American family. People can't even afford to buy eggs. The middle class is being systematically eliminated. Credit card debts are an all-time high. For the most part, mainstream media ignores the facts and seems to be more interested in keeping culture wars fueled for political reasons. We are consumed with identity politics, and for some reason, we're told special interest groups should be able to force their agendas on the masses, on the majority. 70% of the population is just frustrated. Gender identity, let's defund the police. Oh, that makes so much common sense. Let's just get rid of all of them. Ridiculous. Social justice, it just consumes the news. That's why the smartest decision I made starting last year, was to quit watching all news. I don't watch any of it. Because all it is a way to divide and distract us while the economy's falling apart and the world's superpowers, North America, grow weaker and weaker. The naive and the entitled who don't understand minimum wage is a starting point for teenage workers and was never meant to be a livable wage will continue to protest in the streets while their jobs will eventually be replaced by robots. That's the truth. That's the real story, and nobody's talking about it. You all know what my goal is. My goal, I've said it from day one, I want to have an event at Rupp Arena with 500 six-figure earners on our team and 10 millionaires. I want that for the legacy, but more importantly, for the story and the example. People need your success story in your family, around you, your community. They need your success story. People need the hope that your success story can provide them. I just believe that's the state in which we are as a world. I really do. And again, the only way to create financial independence is being in the right place at the right time. We're here. But also a very important part of that is you got to choose to participate, engage when you find the right team culture. Together, everybody achieves more. Everybody travels the same path. I've watched it and documented it the past 40 years. I've watched it. Nobody builds it with the skill sets and the mindsets that they have when they enter, no matter how skilled they are. As I said before, 90 days ago, none of us here knew anything about ERC. How many times do you have to hear this idea before you buy in? How many stories do you have to hear? Guys, the podcast is full of the stories. Some of you've seen it, you've lived it. The stories are endless, endless. That's why I started the podcast 5 or 6 years ago, to help people understand there is a path. There is a logical wisdom of the ages path. If you plug into it, you can achieve your full upside potential. This gentleman died last month, for those of you that knew him. Shannon Denniston, 18-year-old snot-nosed kid, his first convention. Today's a millionaire in the real estate profession. Would not have happened if he had not spent 3 years in that culture. There's my main man. It's so cool. Don't talk to him for 25 years or so, and we hook back up. It's just been great. Some of you remember this guy. And I love his podcast that I did with him, because this is the message that I would have to everybody here. He said, I've been where you're going. He knew at the time where we were trying to take this team as a team. He knew, and he knew he had experienced it, and he had been there. And you know what? A lot of you have, but a lot of you haven't. And those that you have, you owe it to those that haven't, because this is important. Of course, Gordy and Kelly are now icons. Nobody knew them then. And then look at the stories. And I could have put a whole nother group of pictures and a whole another group of pictures of people on this team today that you've all witnessed have broken out. You've all seen it. You've seen it from day one. Daniel talked about, I got to draw the line in the sand. Alan will tell you, sometimes you have to draw the line in the sand twice. Y'all have heard Shelley recently. There's nobody on this team I'm more proud of than Marilyn, doing it from Toronto. Kamala came out of nowhere with Loop, and she's at it again here. Dave, Steady Dave, just solid as a rock. Y'all have heard his podcast. Kurt, I met Kurt in Las Vegas the first time. I remember meeting him. I met him and Alan the first time in Las Vegas, the same time I met Philip for the first time. But he's still here. A lot of people have come and gone, but he's still here, and he's producing every single week. I mean, he's moving forward. You see it. I see it. This is something I want you to hear, and I'm almost done. Philip, get ready. Get your drink of water. In sales, they call strong closers killers. He's a killer. She's a killer. My long-term goal is to develop the strongest team of value-focused, lethally skilled ninja team builders that's ever existed in any organization. And we are on our way. The foundation is being set, and it's the foundation. We're not at the end of this journey. It's the beginning. This ain't no social club. I don't know what's after ERC, but in many ways, I think it's a new era that's just starting, and I'm fired up about it. There's a lot of things I would like to say that I shouldn't, so I won't, but I'm fired up about it, and I really believe this is the beginning, and it's like ninjas. It's just ninjas. We aren't mealy mouth, thumb sucking, glass half full people. Not on this team. Not on this team. That's not who we are. That's not who we'll ever be. We're ninjas. Have you been hanging out with a team of lethally skilled ninjas? Success leaves clues. And I didn't say a ninja, not one person that's making all the money, selling all the products and courses and seminar seats. But I'm talking about a team of lethally skilled ninjas, which is proof that what is being taught duplicates. Ladies and gentlemen, success leaves clues. Remember your mom and when you were a child saying, be careful who you hang out with because you become who you hang out with? Are you hanging out with lethally skilled ninjas? Interesting question. And again, the quality of our life is in direct proportion to the quality of questions we ask ourselves and then answer them truthfully. Are the people that you're hanging out with, are they just trying to sell you more and more courses, coaching, and seats to seminars? I mean, really think about that and honestly answer that question. Have you ever been involved in a culture where your leadership doesn't make money unless you do? Not unless you buy something, a course or an ebook or a seminar seat uh, or on a auto ship for a product. Have you ever been involved in a culture where leadership doesn't make money unless you do? Think about that and try it sometime. See what the difference is. And no, I'm not talking about these MLM social clubs where leaders try to keep you entertained once a week on a Zoom so that you will stay on auto ship one more month. There's nothing more horrific. I said make money. I didn't say hang out. I said make money. I'm talking about a team of people progressing every month, not people that are just hanging out in a burnout business model. Now, if anything that I've said in this training has made sense for you, if it's upset you a little bit, great. You know, I've heard one time that the truth will set you free, but first it might piss you off. And if I've engaged your brain a little bit, if I've made you a little bit angry or upset or uncertain, I'm trying to get you to look at things differently than you probably have been on your entrepreneurial career. I'm going to share with you some resources, some articles, and things that may be valuable to you. If what I've said to this point is just went in one ear and out the other, and you think I'm an idiot, that's cool. There's no need to even watch the rest of this. But if I've jarred you at all, here's an article that I wrote. It's probably back in around 2000, 1999, 1998, 2000, during that time. It appeared in a magazine that went out to company owners within the direct sales industry. And the title of the article back then was Inspire Greatness or Cater to Mediocrity, because back then I could see the trend getting away from telling people the truth, helping people develop time management skills and personal responsibility for their success and progress. And we were starting to cater to the mediocrity of people just for a monthly auto ship or whatever. And it bothered me. And I wrote about it back then. And I got a lot of great comments from a lot of company owners. But obviously, inspiring greatness is a foreign concept in today's entrepreneurial niche. And in that article, I said, I believe that this industry has to return to our roots of personal development, personal growth. We must create a culture that inspires our people to learn, grow, develop, and become all they can become. And you can read the entire article if you want. It's at mlmhelp.com/inspire. So I wanted to share that with you because I think that may speak to some of you. Another one, this is a recent article that we just did. It's called 3 Important Wisdom of the Ages Principles That Most Entrepreneurs Ignore. And it's not the 3 questions that we just covered, but it's 3 principles that I see ignored by virtually everyone in every entrepreneurial endeavor. And you can find that article if you'd like to read it. It's at dalecalvert.com/ignored-success. And you can find that article there. Another article that I want to share with you that I think may speak to you, because see, a lot of times what happens is when we've been taught a certain way and we develop a certain belief system because we follow the wrong people, really, because we get raised in the wrong culture, it's really hard to stop, reevaluate, and rethink the way we're looking at things. And this is an article that kind of gets into the psychology of that a little bit. And it's called Never Underestimate the Difficulty of Changing False Beliefs by Facts. You know, I have always just tried to share documented facts. And I always have felt, and I've been told and believed, that only a fool argues with facts. But that's just not the case. And we see that every day all over the world, every day in every situation that we deal with. People can ignore the facts, and people believe what they want to believe. They see things through their own colored glasses. And if you're not seeing things the way they really are, based on what I call wisdom of the ages principles, then you're not moving in the right direction. But this article is at mlmsuccess.com/flexible MLM belief. And you can go check this out. And there's so many people over the last 10, 15, 20 years, especially, that have been raised in these attraction marketing cultures. And you can see in this article right here, I talk about, it blows my mind the number of self-proclaimed network marketing gurus are still trying to convince the masses and the naive newbies that attraction marketing is the secret to network marketing success in 2023. And, I call out these people because it's just a crying shame what they have done to this industry. It really is, because they got away from proven wisdom of the ages principles. And then lastly, I'm going to share this with you. And this is a video that I hope you'll watch if I've spoke to you. And I want you to hear what I'm getting ready to share with you. And I will tell you right up front that if I was getting ready to hear this, I would not believe it. But again, the team culture, the success of people within a team is your biggest indicator of, where you are. Are you with ninjas that are moving forward? And this is just a short video I did, just kind of talking about some of the ninjas on our team and what they've been able to accomplish. And the video is available on YouTube. If you type in 40-day millionaire Dale Calvert, it'll probably come up. That's how I found it. This is what it looks like for those of you watching on YouTube. And this couple in 40 days, without recruiting one person, without bringing over a team, just taking a product to the marketplace, providing value to the marketplace, and doing it very consistently, daily, in about 40 days, was able to develop $1 million income. And yes, they're number one in the company. They're phenomenal. But it was totally in their wheelhouse. It was their time. And again, I talked about this, I think, in the podcast session you just listened to. But I've seen people that have never been profitable in any type of direct sales or internet marketing program, multiple people on our team that will make more money in 2023 than they ever have in their entire life doing anything. We're going to have multiple six-figure earners, and we're going to have a few people on our team in 2023. I think we'll have 10 that will create $1 million income over the next 12 months in 2023 during that time period, from the beginning till the end of this year. And why? Because it is the number one income generating opportunity I've ever seen in 40 years. And I don't know where you are. Most of you that hear this is not for you, because you don't have the skill sets and mindsets necessary, or the time management skills, or the discipline, or the fear. You haven't conquered fear of failure, fear of rejection, just to go into the marketplace and get this, give away money to small business owners. That's what you're doing. But this is not for everybody. But you can go check. If you think you possibly may be the right type of person, you can go check out this video, and then you can send me an email and let me know a little bit about yourself and your background and where you live, and I'll connect you with a leader on our team in your state or your area. That's really all I wanted to say, guys. I wanted to share with you. I hope what I've said, something I've said, has spoke to you. I hope it's given you a different perception. We've just all been relying on the foo-foo dust, the perfect email sequence, the perfect funnel, the perfect website, the perfect lead capture page, and so on and so forth. And success comes down to being in the right place at the right time with the right skill sets and mindsets ready to go. And that happens when you're involved with the right team culture that is telling you the truth to help you move forward, not telling you what you want to hear so they can sell you what they want to sell you. There's a lot of people involved in the entrepreneurial world who are just lousy at what they do. They stink at what they do. And I know I'm going to sound like every guru you've ever heard, but keep in mind, I have nothing to sell you. It's not your fault. You got raised in the wrong cultures. And when you can find the right culture with the right people that speak wisdom of the ages truth, and you take that desire that you've already shown that is within you, that is the only way that you are going to get off the entrepreneurial hamster wheel. It's the only way you're not going to end up quitting after the next 4 or 5 shiny object courses that you buy and join the world of victims who think everything and anybody that's making income and progressing and moving forward is a scam. That would be the worst thing that could happen for you. That you stay on the hamster wheel the rest of your life, or you come to the conclusion that they're all scams. They aren't all scams. There's good opportunities. There's good people out there, but you have to ask yourself the right questions so you can find them. This is Dale Calvert. Thanks for listening. I hope this helps. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I will talk to you next week on a new session of the New Era Wealth Building Podcast.